Hey everybody, Rick Berube here on another Facebook Live. Today we are very fortunate to have with us from Equity Title, Brittany Nickell. Brittany, welcome to the show. Your audience goes crazy. Woo! All right. Let's start off with you. Tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff, please.
Absolutely. So again, I'm Brittany Nickell with Equity Title, and I am a account executive. I've been with Equity now for over 10 years, so that's been super exciting. I know. I did take a year break when I had my son. I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and that didn't last very long. I came right
Yeah.
back. So fortunate to be with Equity. They're a phenomenal company, and as an account executive, basically what I do is I partner with agents to help with their marketing, to build a true partnership with them, and helping with their marketing in hopes that, when they're writing an offer, getting a listing, that we can also work with them on the escrow and title portion of the transaction. So I'm the marketing, but when you go to write your offers, don't write in my name. That'll be one of our amazing escrow officers at Equity Title.
They give you the person's name to put in there, whoever the person is. And I know I can't think of who it is right now, but I remember I've had a bunch of closings with you guys, and my little joke is, and every time I have a closing, I get money back. Yep.
Woo-hoo! Love it. Yeah, it
I,
happens all the time when I'm first meeting with agents that I get written in the contract, and I'm like, thank you so much, but we're going to let someone else handle this at Equity.
yeah,
So we'll always
it is a
give you that.
compliment, but you're a contact person.
Yes, yes.
All right. So, hey, I see things getting a little busier out there. Are you guys seeing more, you know, uh, orders coming your way? I would imagine you are.
Absolutely. We've seen a really nice uptick in probably the past 2 weeks is where we're really starting to notice it. And especially like on Mondays, that's our big kind of opening day when we're kind of seeing how the week's gonna go. And our past 2 Mondays have been phenomenal. I haven't seen a pickup like this in a few months. So we're really excited that things seem to be shifting again, but in a more positive way.
Yeah, it could only, and I agree with you 100%. It could only slow down so long because remember, we really have a housing shortage across the country, but especially in Las Vegas, Arizona, I would say too. I mean, all our markets, California, but because there's just so many people into Vegas, especially we're Vegas. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of people. It's always in the top 5 in the country, usually in the top 3 of places people are moving to. It's getting bigger all the time. And it's a great place to move to. Plus, okay, I mean, the interest rates are getting a little bit better. The Fed seems to be slowing down on their campaign of being
Absolutely.
historic. I'm being nice
100.
now. Huh?
Yeah, the past few months were, rough. We're just constantly waiting, to see what a rate's going to do. And I feel like it's definitely mellowed out. They're starting to come down, but we're not seeing those huge, increases or decreases, which in my opinion is a good thing. That it's really just starting to stabilize and slowly move down. I feel like that's a really, really positive.
Yeah, it's very similar to 2019 right now. Yeah, a little less
Mhm.
inventory. So, people ask me what kind of year we're going to have. I'm convinced it's going to be good, and I'm starting to think it might be very good. We'll see.
I think it's going to be very good. Again, we're already seeing this uptick. I wasn't thinking it was really going to happen until beginning of the second quarter, and we're already seeing it now. So I think that's a really positive sign what the rest of the year is going to bring.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, look at we have a shortage of housing. I mean, it's just no matter how you look at it. And I love when people tell me, "Well, I should have bought a year ago." So, yeah, we'll continue to penalize yourself by renting. Go ahead. I mean, there's no situation where renting is better. Buying is the way to go.
100%. Even myself, I purchased in the last 6 months, and again, best decision we made. We had a lot of people going, "Are you sure you want to do this right now?" And again, a phenomenal decision. So even I
Yeah.
bought.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. You got to stand behind your product.
Oh, 100%.
Exactly. All right, cool. All right. So I'm an agent in Las Vegas, basically in all our markets, Arizona and California, because all our title and escrow people are very helpful in doing it. So, I want to talk to you. I want to get a little my business going, maybe with farming and other things. How would I do that with you?
So, what we really like to do here at Equity is we really love to just sit down with you one on one and first find what your why is. A lot of times we sit down with agents and they have about 30 different ideas in how they want to market, which sounds amazing. I'm going to do open houses, social media, farming. Again, phenomenal. But what we really recommend is as you're first kind of getting going with your marketing plan is to narrow it down. Find a maybe three things you want to focus on and how you want to market yourself and really focus on those. Because what I find is when you're trying to put efforts into 20 different ways of marketing yourself is that you never put 100% of your effort into any of those. And so you're not going to necessarily see the benefits of that marketing plan. So again, just really kind of narrowing down and finding your why and what you.
Uh-oh. It looked like her feed got lost right in the middle of her why.
Right? Why? Because we really like you.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll wait. We're still alive, right?
Yeah, we're still live. Uh-huh. We'll wait for her to. Okay, here she comes.
There she is. Back. I knew she'd just jump right back in. On the air, it says you're in the broadcast. There she is. She's back.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry.
Here.
I left you on a
Yeah.
cliffhanger.
Like I'm going to share with him a little secret. We used to. We all Suzanne Ashton. She used to call you Tinkerbell, and I thought you did a Tinkerbell and disappeared, and now you're back. So there you go.
Right, I had to bring the pixie dust. I had to sprinkle a little of that to get me back on. But as I
All
was
right,
saying,
good.
I'm back. Finding those few things that we want to start with, and then doing those well and doing those consistently, and then always adding more into your marketing. And so some of the things that we can help with are one, farming. This is a great way to get started. And there's several different ways to even go about farming as an agent. Most agents just think of a geographic farm, which is just like an area or subdivision. But again, there's a lot of different ways we can get creative and how you want to focus with your business and who you want to market to. So we really sit down and go over all the different criteria and how we can pull farms. And then looking at, if you want to do a geographic farm, really pulling information to make sure it's a good area. I talk a lot about turnover percentages, which I know you've heard me, Rick and we talk about a lot. And a turnover percentage is basically the percent of homes that are selling every single year within a specific subdivision or community. And I always recommend about a 6% and above. Last year I might say 7% and above, but two, this is totally dependent on your area. Like Rick has mentioned, sometimes, in California, Arizona, you might see some lower turnovers and that's still okay. Vegas, we tend to have a little bit higher percentages. So again, I recommend right about a 6%, meaning 6% of those homes are selling every single year. Now, I do have agents that farm in areas, say with like a 2% turnover, and that might be because it's in a new home development. And they go in knowing that. They say, I might not get a deal in here for the next year. I mean, who knows? But when people do go to start selling, because I've been consistently marketing to them, the past year, I know I'm going to be the agent that they call. So we really help kind of narrow down, find that perfect farm for agents, and then also help with the marketing plan. So not just sending them the information in the farm and going, good luck, you figure out what to do from here. How do you want to tackle this farm? Do you want to make phone calls? We can help with phone and email lists. Do you want to go door dropping? We can help design materials for you to go out and go door dropping, as well as show you in the VAC, because all of the reps at Equity are trained on the VAC, all of the absolutely amazing marketing materials you guys have at your fingertips. So again, not only can we help design, but also show you how to use that back-end system to get a lot of those farming materials as well. And then last but not least, if you wanted to do mailers, we can absolutely help with that as well. The only thing when it comes to mailers, I love postcards. I think they're great, but sometimes I feel like agents forget that we actually need to be talking to people. We need to be having real estate conversations. So while the postcards are great, we just want to make sure that there's a follow up to that mailer where you're actually talking to those homeowners. We're in the business of building relationships with people, and the same goes with me. There is thousands and thousands of real estate agents to choose from. So if you're not talking to people and actually building those relationships, a mailer's not always going to work for you.
Yeah. And I think it's great. You said a lot of great things there. And one of them I like the best is, like you said, the Virtual Agent Center 2.0. You guys are trained and you know it as well or better than a lot of our agents. So, as well as the marketing material that you have and the information and the stats and all the things you need to be effective with your farm, but not only your farm, you could use those for your sphere. You could even get, like I've heard you say before, I'm from Nebraska. I'm from New England, wherever I can find out of state owners. I can do searches like that too, right? So that's, and I think that works really well.
It does. That's one of my favorite farms. And again, just a different way to think about farming. It doesn't always just have to be tackling that neighborhood. So, I tell this story all the time, but this is probably 6 years ago or so. I had an agent from Wisconsin. He moved here. He didn't know anyone. He moved out here for a job. So no sphere, where do I start? And so we pulled a farm for him of people who own property here in Las Vegas, but live in Wisconsin. And it was only a list of about 40 homeowners. There's not a lot of people that have property here and live in Wisconsin. And let me tell you, he built his entire business off of that 40 home farm list, because once he started getting some phone calls and listings from that farm list, then he built his business from there and started marketing as he had the listings, the flyers, making calls around those listings. So that kind of ties into, it's always been my little saying, when you think about farming, I always recommend to thinking about gardening instead of farming, because it doesn't always have to be this gigantic farm of 2,000 homes that can get you business. Because what I find is that, agents can't always stay consistent with that. You can't maybe.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Rick, yeah, you guys both got cut off, and you're back live again.
Hey, there
Pixie
we go.
dust.
We both got cut off this time. What is going on with the Wi-Fi in here?
I know.
Keep going,
But yeah,
because I think you were.
yes. So just I think of it in terms of gardening, not always farming. Pick a number that you can be consistent with is the biggest thing. So some of my agents that are most successful with their farms have what I would call a garden, maybe 200 to 500 homes. So a lot of times I'll meet with an agent and they'll go, I want to farm an entire zip code. I want a whole 89113. And what you don't realize is that is thousands and thousands of homeowners. So is that something you can be consistent with? Because no matter what kind of marketing you do, it's all about consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like you said, a lot of them think, well, if I mail 3,000, isn't that better than being more consistent with 500? No, it's not. Not even close. And like you said, Brittany, it requires talking to people. This is a personal touch business. You have to have relationships, and they got to see you being consistent. It works. Just spraying out a mail, is not the same as farming. That's why there's two different words: mailing, farming. Farming requires action. That's why it sounds hard. If you ever did farming, it's hard, right? Or even gardening. They're physical labor.
Absolutely. It is hard. And I feel like some agents, they don't, just the consistency part of it. They think I'm going to do this one mailer and I'm going to get 4 listings, and unfortunately it
Right.
just doesn't work that way. And with any of your marketing, it could take 4 to 5 months of consistently marketing to an area before that business starts to come through, So again, that's why maybe picking a little bit smaller of a number is good. And kind of like you said, just sending out a mailer isn't farming. So like if you're doing a just listed or just sold postcard in a random neighborhood, that's not farming. That's just sending out marketing for that sale. Again, farming is sending something or talking to them at least once a month. You can't do it
Right.
once a quarter. You can't do it every 2 months. You need to be touching them in some way or form every single month.
Right. Email, and once again, like that goes back to Agent Center. We have great stuff in there. You guys have great stuff. You guys, well, tell me a little about your app. Like, I want to farm and I want to farm a geographical area. How does the app help me out? I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we have a phenomenal app and website for you guys that's completely free for you guys to utilize. And our website is just equitynv.com. And then the app is Equity Mobile. So I recommend signing up on the site first. It's just a little bit easier as you're creating a username, password, all that good stuff. But once you create your account and you get logged in, again, a ton of amazing tools for you guys. But one is our farming feature. So you guys can actually create your own farm in about 2 minutes. And it's super easy. You just go by doing a draw map of the area you want. But one of my favorite features about our farming tool is that as soon as you do the draw map of the area you want for your farm, is it immediately tells you how many homes as well as what the turnover percentage is. So even before you go in and start doing a lot of work, it does all of those calculations for you, which is a huge help. Once you create the farm, it's great because you can export it. Right from there, you can actually email it to me or any of the marketing reps at Equity Title, and we can order phone and email farms for you. And we also have a tool, it's called our Farm Focus, where once you create your master farm, say a master farm has 500 homes, you can use the Farm Focus and go in and narrow down your farm. So, for example, one of the filters we have is most likely to sell. So again, let's say we're wanting to make our farm into a garden, and the master farm that we pull has 1,500 homes. You could go in and utilize the Farm Focus and do a most likely to sell filter for the top 400 homes that are most likely to sell. Export that list, send it to me for phone numbers, and get on that phone or go and door drop to those homeowners. So it's a really cool feature. And even aside from the most likely to sell filter, you can also filter down by property characteristics. So let's say you have a buyer who really wants to be in a specific neighborhood and they need 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a pool. You can actually use that Farm Focus and put in all of that criteria, and it will only pull the homes that matches your buyer's criteria, which is awesome. I know obviously it's shifted a little bit. I had a lot of agents doing this when inventory was super, super tight. But again, we're starting to see that shift again where inventory is dropping. So I would recommend doing this for any buyer that an agent works with, because when you guys have a listing, there's several different ways to market yourself. You have your sign in the yard, flyers in the box, hopefully making phone calls around the neighborhood. So how do we get more business from the buyers that you guys work with? And this is a great tool for that, because you could basically pull that farm list, send it to me for phone and emails. You could send them a letter. And then if anyone contacts you from that, say your buyer's already under contract on another property, or you just know they won't be interested in that home, here's a new listing lead for you, because that person is already thinking about listing their home in the back of their head. And it's a very easy conversation of, with Berkshire Hathaway, I have a great program called my buy-side program, and I can actually see that there's 4 other people looking to purchase in this neighborhood aside from the buyer I just told you about. So really powerful tool for you guys to use.
Right. No, I love it. And so you can be so detailed about it, and I agree with you. Getting the phone numbers. Would you say do you get 60% the phone number? What do you think the number is?
So I would say that we get about 70 to 80% of phone numbers, and then about 50% of emails. We do have a maximum that an agent can order at a time. So I believe that's right around 250 homes. And that's just because we do use a third party for those. So it doesn't mean forever. It doesn't mean that, you've requested a phone farm from us. And then that's it. You can never order one again. It's just at a time. We just can't order in huge bulk amounts. But that's why our website comes in so handy, is because you can use that draw map for the exact amount of homes that you want, and then send it over to us for those phone and emails.
Right. And hopefully, if this farm knock it, you should be knocking it anyway. So the first time, the best thing to do is knock it. Then you can be accumulating phone numbers as you go along. And once you can't get phone numbers, if you really want to get them, you can go to Tokyo, you can go on Finders, and definitely get those if you really want. And with the email addresses. the additional ones if you want to. And I would want them if it was my farm too, for sure. So awesome.
Oh,
That's great.
yeah.
So,
So
all right,
farming
Brittany.
again. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Tell them what office you cover, who covers the other ones, and we'll take it from there.
So I cover the Summerlin office as well as the Sahara office. And then we have the absolutely amazing Rhonda Hubke, who covers the Berkshire St. Rose branch. And then the also absolutely amazing Jamie Zeppenfeld, who covers the Sunset branch. And one thing I'll say about the three of us is that we absolutely adore each other. We work so well together. So if you ever need help and you're in a different branch, just know that you can utilize all of us. We work together as a team and just want to make sure that you're taken care of.
We're like one family.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can say that about title in a whole. You know, we're really like one big family. That's why I've been here for over a decade. So it's really a phenomenal company.
No, it really is. You guys do a great job. I run building us me here all the time. And then we got Jamie Zeppenfeld. That's what I call her, Led Zeppenfeld. We got her at the Southwest office. And she likes she likes Hard Rock, I guess, too. So that's a perfect name for her. And so, guys, if you're out there, all right, and so this is the year, like you said, inventory is getting tighter. Make sure you're doing something. Get outside your comfort zone. Look, it's only January 26th. You still have over 90% of the year ahead of you. So you're already doing stuff. Great. If you're not doing it, get in touch with Brittany, get in touch with Rhonda, get in touch with Jamie, get it going. All right, because if you're not talking to people, if you don't have a proactive part of your business, you're not trying as hard as you could be. Correct?
Absolutely. And it's never too late to start. You know, I feel like a lot of people, oh, I didn't start on January 1. No, start today. It doesn't need to be a Monday. It doesn't need to be January 1st. Start today.
Yeah, or the people that want to be perfect before they start. And I always crack. Can't be perfect until you start.
And I find that a lot. You know, I'll meet with an agent and they want to have everything just perfectly in order, you know, and I'm like, no, just start having those conversations. Get out there. That's what's going to work for you.
Absolutely. All right, Brittany, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it. This was extremely awesome and educational. All right, and I'm sure I'll see you in the future, near future. Okay, keep it rocking.
Thank you so much, Rick, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Talk soon. Bye, everybody.